Hello everyone. In today's video we're going to cover a little bit about integer. So this video will serve as a revision session for integer. In integer we have few things that we need to cover. Alright, so the first thing you need to know integer is the rule. So we have one general rule which is negative and negative simply mean positive. Moving forward, if positive and positive will give you positive. Meanwhile negative and positive will give you negative. Positive and negative will give you negative. So in case you're wondering what are the relationship between each of the bracket simply means it's a multiply operation over here. Okay, so that means negative number times negative number will give you positive. Positive number times positive number will give you positive. Negative number times positive number gives you negative. Positive number times negative gives you negative number. For an example, let's take a look at this example. If I would have an operation such as example 1, if I have a number such as negative 1, negative 7. So if I want to solve this question, it's pretty much easy. First, we need to focus on the multiplication. So since we talk about this, I would like to reiterate a little bit over here, which what we call as BODMAS. I believe some of you guys are still forgot what is BODMAS. So I've mentioned before, B stands for bracket, O stands for operation, D stands for divide, M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, S stands for subtraction. So we must follow this order of operation. We must consider our bracket first, followed by the operation in the bracket. Moving forward, we must do division before multiplication and then addition and subtraction. Like referring to our case on this question example 1, our example 1 we have a bracket, therefore we need to solve the bracket. So our bracket says an operation of multiplication. How do I know these both are multiplication? As I mentioned earlier, if there's a bracket, meaning it's a multiplication. So I have no space, so I'm going to do it over here, which is negative 1, negative times negative. Negative times negative gives me a positive. So positive 7 over here. Now I can move forward, which is negative 1 plus 7 become positive 6. So that's how we do this kind of questions. Okay, so take note of this. Perhaps I'll do one more example with you all. Alright, let me just clear the board. Alright, let's look at another example. For example, if I have this kind of question, let's say I would have negative 7 minus 3. So if you notice in this example here, it doesn't have any bracket. So when we don't have bracket, meaning there is no multiplication. I want to reiterate something over here. Only if you have a bracket, then it's a multiply. So it can be bracket or multiply or dot. So all these three give the same meaning, which is multiplication. So like for our question here, we don't have any bracket, therefore you don't need to think a lot. I owe someone, usually I teach my student how to do integer is through the O and deb method. Negative I indicate as, allow me to write here, negative I indicate as the money you owe someone. And positive I indicate as money you have. In this way, things will be much easier for you to do. I know we have learned number line method, but number line method will take a long time, so I would rather use these two methods. So now you see I owe someone $7 and I owe someone another $3. So in the end, I owe total $10. Let's say you look at another example, example 3. So in example 3, let's say I have negative 7 plus 11. So in this operation, if you notice, like I said, negative indicates the money you owe someone, positive indicates the money you have. So right now I have in my pocket $11 and I borrow someone $7. So of course in life we want to pay our debt first. So 11 minus 7 will become 4. So this is how we do our integer operation. Like you notice, this question and this question both doesn't have bracket. So therefore we don't need to think a lot. We can do it quite easy, straightforward. Some students will come at one point where they would forgot how to do such an easy question. 7 minus 3. You wouldn't believe they'll be thinking 7 minus 3, they'll be figuring out, hey, here positive, negative, what do I get? Don't worry, tell to yourself, in front nothing means it's positive. Take note, in maths we always say this, that when there's no symbol in front we always put as positive. We'll never put negative or anything. So remember, if nothing in front, so it's known as positive number. Therefore, I have in my pocket $7. I owe someone $3. So 7 minus 3, I'll get 4. Now the next example, we step up our level a bit. So perhaps I have 7 minus negative 3. So this kind of question, students ask me, do I do this method or not? Before you do this method, you need to check on your BODMAS. Right? So we want to check on our BODMAS. So our BODMAS has mentioned that we need to consider the factor of bracket and division or multiplication first. So we have a bracket here, and the operation between the bracket is a multiplication. Therefore, we want to emphasize on the multiplication first. Negative times negative gives us positive, as I shared earlier on the screen. So that will become 7 plus 3. So I have $7 and someone give me another $3. In total, I have $10. So that's how we do integer. Maybe I'll add one last question. I forgot what example is it. Perhaps I'll just go with example 9. So in example 9, let's say we have 7. I put here negative 2. Right? So again, we emphasize on our BODMAS. So our BODMAS has mentioned to us that we need to consider the operation of bracket followed by divide or multiply. So we have a bracket here, and the operation between the bracket is multiplication. Therefore, negative times negative gives us an positive 2 here. Now we owe someone $7 and I have $2. I pay off my debt, I still remain about $5 debt. So that's how we do integer. So in integer, this operation is very important. I'm going to clear and reiterate one more time, because we still have students who is still wondering what is BODMAS. So remember, BODMAS or BITMAS or whatever language that you learn, doesn't matter, it still stands for the same purpose. B is for bracket, and you must make sure you always consider the bracket first priority, followed by divide, multiply, addition, and subtraction. So O stands for operation, meaning operation in the bracket. Therefore, if you have any operation such that division come before multiplication, you must do your division first. So since we talk about this, maybe I'll just dive a little bit into BODMAS type of question that you probably might see in integer. For an example, example 10, let's say I have negative 7 plus negative 3 divided by 4 and then 7 over here. Alright, so if you notice here, we have a divide and we have a bracket. So our BODMAS mentioned that if we have a bracket, we need to focus our bracket. So in this kind of question, student ask me, do I take the 7 times 4 first, or do I divide first? Alright, okay, this is a bad example because it will become a fraction, but never mind, I'll just proceed to do. Therefore, we always go to priority. Our priority will be division first. So negative 7 plus negative 3 followed by over 4, divide means it's over, multiply by 7. So now our second priority is the multiply. 7 times up directly, I will cover this in detail in fraction chapter. Negative 21 over 4. Now we have positive negative here. Positive negative, that will give us an negative 21 over 4. So how we solve this, I'll cover in the fraction chapter. I just want to focus on integer alone. Maybe I get another better number to show the prominent difference between the BODMAS. We go with example 11. So in example 11, let's say I have negative 7 times 2 divided by 1. Okay, sorry, not good example. Times 4 divided by negative 2 plus 3. So if you notice, there are a lot of operation here. Multiplication, division, and addition. You ask yourself again, what are you supposed to focus? So if we refer back to our BODMAS mentioned bracket. So our bracket doesn't have anything important over here. Now we have multiplication and division. So our priority falls to the division first. Take note on this. So we want to focus on our division first. 4 divide negative 2. Alright, take note. 4 divide negative 2. So positive divide negative become negative. Therefore, times negative 2. Alright, plus 3. Now moving forward, negative 7 times negative 2. Negative times negative is positive, so it will become 14 plus 3 and you get your 17. So if you notice, some students probably might do this mistake. They might take 7 times 4 and they get 28, negative 28, and then they go divide by 2. So it totally will be a different thing over here already. At some time you might get right, but please take note, when you do in fraction, this will be wrong. So we want to focus on the BODMAS. Our BODMAS says that we consider division, then only the multiplication come. So I'll do one more last example before I end this video. Example 13, the last example. So let's say we have a negative 8 divided by 4 times 2 minus 3, right? So this is too easy. Let's up our standard a little bit. So I'll add negative 4 over here times 2 minus 3. So if you notice, there are several operations involved in this question. We want to focus on our priority, which is the division, because the bracket doesn't have any prominent number or symbol in front. If you notice, we have division and multiplication. As I mentioned, BODMAS, we go with division first. So negative 8 divide by negative 4. Negative divide negative gives us an positive. That will give you 2 times 2 minus 3. 2 times 2 gives you 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3 gives you 1. There we go. Right? So I think pretty much that's all I would cover about integer chapter in this video. In case you have any question or what, you can just drop in the comment, or you can just throw in our group, and I or any of our friends will assist you in the group. Alright, so that's all for today's video. Thank you.